Okay, hi, welcome back. This is the second video. This is the second video in a series reviewing the STMicro SPIN32G4 motor actuator control board and the development environment that comes with it. So the first video we just did an overall view of everything that we've got in this kit, including a motor and power supply. This video is now looking specifically at the programmer. This is a common component that you'd use with almost any STM32 project that you might choose to do, whether it be a motor control system or house temperature control or a 3D printer even. I have many 3D printers that actually use STM32 boards in them. They're programmed with the easy method of programming, not through JTAG or anything else. So anyway, this is the unit. As you can see, based on my hand size, let me just zoom out a little bit. It is not huge, which it doesn't need to be. And I've took the screw out of the back so we can have a look at it. So let's just take that off and take the board out. As you can see on the back side, there is nothing here except one little connection here. If we flip it over though, you'll see that most of this board is basically, get it the right way around, basically just the one chip. This is an STM32F723. Everything else on here are jumpers. You've got a USB micro interface, or a USB 2 basically, into here to talk to it from your PC and things. And then we have jumpers on here to connect to other devices, to expand on the port selections, etc. As you see, there's nothing but a light on the back of this thing. Yeah, there's a few capacitors underneath the chip, but that's about it. Everything else is, I think, a couple of power supply related things here maybe. So the other part that comes with this is the expansion board, which is here. And this looks a little more complicated, but if you look closely, you'll see that there is nothing on here except jumpers and connectors for all sorts of things. You've got serial, you've got JTAG, you've got SWIFT, SWID. There is a set of connectors here, 1, 2, 3, which if you look at this, mating parts here, that allows you to, well, the main parts are at the bottom, but it passes through, so you can stack boards. Allows you to connect these two parts together without having to run separate cables, so it would just connect in like that. There's a nylon spacer that you can put in the middle to secure it a little better. Now once you've done this, of course, it won't fit in the case anymore properly. I mean, the top one will fit on, but the bottom one won't, even if you have this spacer connected. It's not going to make any real difference to this thing. Am I connecting this the wrong way around? Yeah, that should be on the inside. Yeah, like that. So I've got this plastic one that came with it. This would be on the bottom. But once you've done that, this one still won't go on. I'm sure somebody may have already made a little 3D printed file that could allow that to be screwed shut and self-contained. Because you can see most of the connectors are coming out the edges already. The main one we actually need though is on, well, I guess you could do it either way because it stacks. Well, ignore that. So yeah, that's the kit. So let's put this together and we'll look at the software we need to put on the computer and get it installed and see if it gets detected by the PC. That's the first part in. Just put the spacer in there. When you're putting this together, just make sure you are gentle with the alignment. You've got the two pads over here and the separate sockets over here. So you've got 1, 2, 3. They need to connect to the mating ones on here. So just gently bring them together. Nothing needs to be forced, and they just click in. Because there's nothing active on this board, there's no real worries about it. I've got this cable already connected because that's what we're going to use to connect over to this board. Anyway, I'll just take that off for now because we don't need it yet. The connectors, they look like they would have a much thinner cable, but when you look at these cables carefully, you can see that the actual connectors, sockets for the pins, they align, and it's just a lot of connector mechanics on the outside keeping it together. Anyway, next part is, as you can see, that won't go on, but to hold this together, we just screw this second provided nylon in. Just finger tight is more than enough. Now, the trick with this is, first of all, don't over tighten it. Secondly, do not use metallic ones. There's actually a warning in the guide, and I'll link to all the guides and things in the notes. It tells you not to use metallic ones on interspacing of these things. Alright, that's the mechanics of it out of the way. So now we have to, because that's not going to go on anymore. It would normally go and expose this connection here. As you can see, they just passed right up through, so, but that won't fit. So I have to leave it off. If you don't need this expansion board, which really we don't, I'm just showing you how you put it together, then you could just leave the whole thing together and just connect through this on the bottom. Now I might take this apart again just for the sake of, proceeding, unless we get something where we do need this board. Right, let's get to the software. The main piece of software that we need for this review is the STM32 Programmer. Now I've already downloaded it from the website, but I will provide links. There is also a full-blown STM32 Cube IDE, which is a 1.1 gigabyte download, but we don't need that for what we're doing right now, so I'm not going to take you through installing that. But I will go through installing the STM32 Programmer, which is only a 250 meg download. It allows you to pull down programs for all sorts of different development devices and evaluation boards and things like that. And you just have a fairly simple configuration interface, etc. And it should detect the programmer right off the bat, as well as the development board that may be connected to it. First things first, you need to connect it with a micro USB cable. Okay. Now I had two here, which I dug out. One didn't come with it for me. I think normally you do get one, but I think my programmer kit, because this is evaluation from Element14, might have been opened and repackaged, and maybe the USB got misplaced. But I've got two USB cables here. This one is, USB's got black internals, but this one has white. They're both USB A to micro USB, but they're not the same. Right? You need one that has power and data. This is a little tester you can get from AliExpress, dirt cheap. They're not sponsoring this or anything. You just connect your USB cable, that's a USB 2 cable, and you plug in your micro connector, and it gives you a whole bunch of lights. Well, in this case, not. The only two lights that it's given you on here is the power, +5, and ground. There is no data connection on this cable, so this would not work for this. So if you plug a cable in, it doesn't work right away, find another cable. Okay, let's get the other one. This one is a bit longer of a cable, but nevertheless, it's the same type. So let's just plug this one in. It's always the third time you connect it that you get it the right way. So here is my other cable connected. It's, I guess we're doing the overhead one, aren't we? I don't know if you can see the lights there. I zoom back in again. Bit of reflection, but you can see we've got the two data lights on as well in this case. So we know that this cable should work. Right, whereas that other one, the grey one, will not. Alright, let's get to plugging it in and see what happens. I'm going to plug it in and show the view of the computer screen, because things might pop up. Now my computer is absolute, just call it virgin for want of a better word. My normal development lab computer decided to throw a fit and cremate its processor when I went to start recording this video, so I had to invest in getting an upgrade, well, replacement, which ended up being an upgrade. So this has got no STM32 software on at all. So everything that we're doing for this project, including Notepad++ and things like that, Python, is all going to be first time installed onto Windows 11. All right, so if there's any issues with the install because of needing other things, we should see it. Let's hope there isn't. but we'll find out. Anyway, let's get going. We'll use this cable. Alright, here is my screen capture. I will zoom in on anything that might be difficult to see. This is the STCOM Development Toolkit STLINK-V3SET homepage, and we're looking at tools and software on the subcategory here. As we scroll down, keep going down, we've got all tools and software. So the one we want would be right down here, and it's the STM32Cube IDE. It will want you to have a login. So if you don't have a login, you'll have to create one. It does not cost you anything, but you do have to be registered. Now, I think the videos that I've seen on this, it says it is related to Windows 10, but now, of course, Windows 10 isn't supported anymore by Microsoft. I'm doing this on Windows 11. Anyway, so what you would do is just click on Get Latest. There's no point except the license terms. Log into your account if you aren't already logged in. Seems to take its time sometimes. Now this is where it went wrong before. It went to the page to do the download and then immediately went to page not found. It's done the same thing, all right? Well, I don't know why it's doing that right now. Let's go for the programmer and see if that one works. All right, the programmer is enough to download the example code for the sensor node and also the motor control node. So if that's here and working, we will pull it down. So same thing, all these different OSs. We want the Windows 64-bit, so we'll get latest. Tap that again. Now I'm already logged in this time, and it's still misbehaving. Don't know why. If you try it, it might be going to work for you. Now I've already downloaded it, fortunately, before I rebuilt my computer. So I had that saved onto a USB stick, so I've moved it onto my hard drive. So let's just go and install it. So here we are in the folder with all my downloads, and we've got the STM Cube IDE, and I've also got the STMicro Programmer. All right, now I've already extracted that up here somewhere. Cube Programmer, so it's an exe, so we're going to run this. Let's take all the defaults, info about features, accept the license agreement. So here is my other cable connected. Yes, I understand. I don't know whoever reads that, to be honest, but anyway, all files, programmer, and package creator. We'll just take all the defaults. You can see this is pretty well on this machine. It's pretty quick to install. It's a i7 Ultra processor, which is kind of nice. But anyway, all right, device driver software. So low-level USB drivers for it. So we'll install that so it recognizes the thing when we plug it in. Another driver on this cable. So this would not work for this. So if you play next, create shortcuts, yep. All users and complete. We'll say done. And you can see on the top left of my screen, we've got a programmer interface now. So that's great. So let's just get these off of the screen. I guess it's nice about having a virgin machine is there's nothing I have to keep hiding from anybody. All right, so let's launch this without the programmer being connected and see what it says. Looks like a little bit of usage statistics. All right, so it's expecting an ST-Link. Let me make this full screen so it's easier to see. That's my UPS in the other room going off. So it's not detected the ST-Link device. All right, so let's close this for a moment and wait for that to stop. Needs to change the battery in it. Okay, so I'm going to simply plug in, if I just plug this in here, but I'll keep the main computer screen on so that we can see whether anything pops up when we plug it in. Don't know if they will. Might just get a beep and that's all. So we'll plug it in. All right, the light came on and the green light came on. The red light is flashing, which says COM. So green light is power, red light is COM, green light is power. So let's go and launch the application again. Now that we've done that, and see if it is detected. Now obviously we don't have any programs or development boards loaded up yet. Let's just go full screen again, and it says no ST-Link. Let's refresh that. And there you saw it. It popped up STLINK-V3. And we'll now see we've got a COM port showing up, which is on COM3, STMicroelectronics ST-Link virtual COM port. And anything else that's popped up? Not in there. Oh, sorry, my mistake. We also have a hard drive showing up, USB connected, ST-Link. As I said, the STM32 processors, or MPUs, have a unique ability to program them just by dragging a file onto a USB hard drive location when you have them in DFU mode, or other ways of setting them up. But it's as simple as dragging a binary file and they automatically install it. This is how I reprogram, upgrade most of my 3D printers, is just dragging a file, or you can just put it on a USB stick if the software is set up for that, and it'll just grab the file and program it automatically. We're not going to do that right away, but it's nice to know that that's there right out of the gate. And I mean, we don't have anything plugged into this yet. So now if we go and look on the hard drive of this computer, let's minimize all of these and go to the hard drive. Yeah, there it is. It's drive F. Anyway, it's now being detected. So if we run the programmer again, STMcube programmer, it should detect the ST-Link device this time. So it has, and it's actually populated. No, sorry. It has detected the programmer. This is to connect, I think, to a further device that you want to program. You can see we've got version numbers and everything else. Now it is recommending we do a firmware upgrade here too. So we'll do that before we continue. It's also written a whole bunch of info here. STMcube programmer, STLINK-V3SET. Unable to get core ID. That's because nothing's plugged into it, I think. But it is over here saying that there's a firmware upgrade available. So I'm going to click that. STLINK-V3. Open in update mode. I think we can, yep. Leave everything as default. We'll just say upgrade. That should probably download it automatically and do the upgrade for me. You can see how relatively easy this is. I know this particular stuff, kicking off with this, is a little more lengthy than I was planning. I was hoping for 5 minutes, but hey, it's all going smoothly. There's the upgrade done. See, the lights were flickering a little bit. That's now rebooted. So in here we can probably close that. If I close this and reopen it. Alright, we're just going to move on from that. I don't want to waste too much time. Not essential. There's nothing down here about it. There's nothing else we can do here because we don't have a target device selected yet, but we can see that the ST-Link is detected and that everything seems to be working okay. It's identified it here. This was because I tried to connect to a target board, which obviously we don't have yet. So I will leave that there. That's the basic programmer software installed. So now that we've connected to the ST-Link-V3 and we've got the right COM port on our computer, which if in our case is COM3, we can continue now to move on to one of our target boards, which is going to be the sensor node to start with. So let's finish this video here and move on. I will add some of the notes that I experienced as I update into the Element14 website. Okay, this is a little add-on for the end of the video of getting started with the programmer, and I did promise you I would take you through installing the IDE as well as just the programmer environment. So this is the STM32Cube IDE homepage. I will provide links in the description as well. So the first thing you got to do is get the software. Now, hopefully it's all going to work today. I've already downloaded it, but I will do it again just so you can see. So get software. We want the latest Windows installer. You pick for whatever your operating system is. I'm only doing the Windows one on Windows 11. So hit get latest. Accept the license agreement. Log in if you're not already logged in. Wait for the cogs to turn. Now it should automatically start downloading. If it doesn't, you can click the button again once you're logged in. It's pretty slow considering I have a 5 gig internet speed. Yeah. So it did the usual page not found, or at least I say usual. I seem to be having this issue again and again where it won't download it. Hopefully, I haven't figured out why it's doing this yet. But anyway, I've already downloaded it, so let's pretend it did download, and let's go and install it. So the download for the STMcube IDE version 1.19 is 1.153 gigabytes, so just over a gig. I've expanded it out into my downloads folder already. So here's the Cube IDE. I have not installed it yet though, so let's go in here. It's one great big executable. So I'm going to install it and allow it to go to its defaults as we go through. So yes, we're going to continue. Next. I agree. Let it go into the ST folder. Next. Let it put in the J-Link and the ST-Link drivers. They're already in because of the previous install of the programmer, but we'll let it go ahead anyway. Now it's just going to do its installation. So drivers. Yep. The speed of installing on your machine may vary. This is an i7 Ultra running at, curious, what is it running at right now? Five gigahertz. So yeah, my network at download speed and installation are pretty fast. So yeah, obviously nowhere near maxing it out. And now we're done. So we hit next, create a desktop shortcut. There it is up here. And that is it. So this too should pick up. I don't know. I haven't tried running it on this machine yet. So let's give it a go. So standard workspace location, we'll leave it at that. Say yes. If you're short on space on your user directory, you can always direct that to a different location if you want to. Allow it to access my network. We'll allow it. Let's minimize that. Defender exclusion check will. I got plenty of performance, so I'm just going to cancel out of that. Feature usage statistics doesn't look like you got to cancel. And here we are with the Cube IDE. So we got all the usual development things. We're going to be using this a very small amount when we go through to installing the motor controller software and things. It's actually a multi-step process to get there. Anyway, so that's it installed and up and running. If If you get to this point, that's as far as I'm going to take it for this, because we're just including this as part of the initial install. There will be other things which we'll deal with as we go through the various extension boards and target boards and things. So I will see you in the next video where we look at the sensor board. That is, let me change my view to overhead zoom. That is this board here. Okay, with all the multitude of sensors and everything else on it. All right, so see you in the next video. Okay, so quick update before I actually finally let this video go. Been playing around and trying to do some Google searching as to why it wouldn't let me log in, and I couldn't really find anything. But what I discovered, I went to my other computer in another room, which is also Windows 11, and it let everything work perfectly happily. On this computer, I'm not sure what it is, but if I'm not logged in when I'm on this page with the downloads, now it goes for any of the software downloads where you get a similar screen. I click on the download latest, it gets me to log in and accept the license agreement, etc., and then it just bounces back and doesn't accept my login. And if I notice up on the top, it was actually putting up that I was a guest, not as a logged in person. If I went to the home page, so st.com, just right, this page, and I went and tried to log in, it did let me log in. And then if I returned to the Get Software page and tried to download the software, it all worked perfectly well, the way I would expect it to. So if you do end up with some issues trying to log in, and it just keeps bouncing you out of the download with a 404, then just go to the home page, log in there, come back to this, and hopefully it will also work for you. I'm still figuring out why it's different on this computer versus my other machines, but it might be because it's brand new, got the latest of everything, and there's some kind of security feature that's interfering with the redirect for the single sign-on and stuff like that. I don't know, but that seems to be a workaround. Anyway, it seemed to work fine and let me download the software. So that's it, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.